So I just want to talk really briefly about a site hit on Vertigo, which is A site because it really is the A site map. Um, so the first thing is CTs, if they know it, are going to throw a smoke that looks like this. This smoke comes from elevator. It's pretty much a spawn smoke, so it does happen very quickly. But it does usually have this gap on the top, so your opper can get into a spot like this, and he can shoot this guy or leg this guy. And sometimes the CTs will be looking for this, so you can boost your op behind this box. Just try and get an off angle, but that is a pretty easy punish on an overly aggressive CT. And regardless of whether or not this smoke is here, if you're going for ramp control, you're going to want to molly behind these concrete bags. This stops the CTs from aggressively pushing through it with a flash or just hiding behind it like a rat, which does happen. You can also have somebody molly side haul just to prevent an early push. If you're not going to get side haul control, somebody needs to be keeping an eye on this. So if you do get this fast ramp control and you want to just roll straight into a site hit, this is the left side site smoke. It is a jump throw. Throw it from there like I just showed. And it looks like that. And then the pair to it is a right side site smoke that you just throw from about this area and bounce off. The right side doesn't have to be nearly as precise as the left side to get the wall smokes up. If you didn't take side haul control, you're probably going to want to do that now. So you could have somebody flash like this, and then your riflers can just challenge the side haul guy. You could also have crunched them. But regardless, you get site control. Site smokes are up. This is the default plant spot. But CTs, especially if they've thrown this smoke, they generally know the map well enough for this. From elevator, they can double nade off of this wall and kill the default planter. So it's not a bad idea to bait the plant, like to plant, bait out the nades, and then after you wait for the CT response, just a couple seconds, you can go back in for the full plant. You also, if you want, you can plant here, which is pretty safe, unless, and because it is Vertigo, a lot of people do this, you have your smoke walls up, and the CTs, they either do it with the flash, or they do it dry. They just push through the smokes to try and cause chaos and prevent the bomb plant. Because retakes on A, especially if you're man down on the CT side, so you got like a 3v4 or a 4v5, and you're low on utility because you've played out a round, retakes are fucking hard on Vertigo. And so you generally just want to prevent that entirely. Another thing to think about when you're doing a site hit, especially if you've done it a couple times, so you expect the CTs have responded, is you throw your site smokes, and then you want to have somebody molly behind sandbags. Kind of where that smoke went. But so you molly behind sandbags, and if a CT is here, he's either going to smoke like this, which he can't really play around, or somebody from site could smoke for him, which still, you draw out a smoke from the site guy and you know someone's there. Now, occasionally, CTs will molly this smoke even if they're not there. Will smoke the molly, rather, even if they're not there from site. But you still cost them the resources anyway, so it's not that big of a loss. Something to watch out for, too, is there are two boosts for the CTs to do on a site Vertigo that can try and stop ramp aggression. One of them, there are two that are like the most common. One of them is here. So the CTs boost up, and you can just see the T's here pretty much pushing up into this. And the other is from the crane, or from the cone, right? So you've got the crane boost and the cone boost, and you just double boost here, and then you can get up and see kind of the similar angle, but you don't have as much of this side. And so if you've been rolling through the A hits a lot, it's not a bad idea just to have somebody check here and here. And if the CTs are boosted here, you can not only kill the guy who's boosted over the wall, but you can spam through the metal and kill him that way. And that's kind of it. Those are like the essential ideas of getting ramp control and rolling into a fast site hit. Side haul is a little bit harder. You can have a guy flash. If you get side haul control, you can have a guy flash and then take your duels that way. But this one, if you can molly the guy out and then get control behind it, that's the best. But sometimes you do just have to take the duel. And there is also CTs can do this. So we'll kind of talk about aggressive CT hits on Vertigo. So they throw the smoke down there that we discussed before, and it's not uncommon for a CT to smoke this molly. So there's this molly here, right? The CT smokes it, and then he gets out and plays here, or there's a smoke here. He plays on top of it, and he just plays either for this or for this, because you have to clear this guy. So you can focus on mollying this or mollying into sand or mollying into side hall. I wouldn't do both, and I would prioritize the side hall molly and then just have somebody check this. But there are a couple of rat spots like that. The sandbags behind this pillar here that you just have to check if you've been doing A hits a lot, which really you should, just based on how the map design currently works. B is hard to take, in mid you kind of just roll into an A hit from mid anyway. But those are my thoughts on Vertigo and a little bit of helpful utility to get you started.